Michael, today you pay me money. I don't send it for let you help me send money in Ghana. 2 weeks now, you not send me money and 10 you not give me back me money. Today, give me money.
You know, ever sabi goodness in your life. I send back your money, but trust me, today na the very last day I ever send money for now.
I don't need your help because I don't know so with Afri money. I dey able to send money. Now Baku Africa countries them with Afri money.
All right, indeed. Welcome back. This is Wake Up Sierra Leone, and it's a special edition of the program being broadcast live here from the Well of Parliament, historic, magnificent building here on Tower Hill in Freetown. My name's Victor Jones, and I've been speaking to a lot of MPs this morning, a lot of government officials who heard the youth minister earlier. He also heard from Honorable Papa from the main opposition, All People's Congress. Now I've been joined by Honorable Alhaji Alpha Khan, the presidential spokesman and advisor to the president. Good morning and welcome, Honorable.
Good morning, Victor. How are you doing?
Right, well, it's a pleasure having you.
Thanks,
Honorable, what are we expecting from the president today?
As usual, this is a traditional ceremony. The president has obligation to read what we call a report card to the nation every period, 12 months. He did that last year. He made some promises last year. Now he's coming to tell us what he has done in those 12 months and how he has achieved what he promised to us and what he plans to do in the future. So it's a case of where we came from, where are we, and where are we going. So it is a case of the status quo ante, the status quo now, and the status quo before. So we are looking at an opportunity for Leone from the president what he has done. I know what he has done, but let it come from the horse's mouth, because I know that he has done a lot. Within this 12 months, we have made sure that the food prices, commodities, has gone down because of the increase in agricultural productivity. We saw the president go to a farm in Tomabom himself under slushing rain, and to give the example that as a leader, when he knows the way, he must go the way and show the way. And he has done that. And he's going to tell us now what the plans are for the improvement of the gender parity. We already have about 33% in Parliament and 33% in Cabinet. But I am sure that there is an opportunity increase on that. The balance of distribution of governance positions in this country is going to be a very topical issue is going to say here. And I believe that the country will agree with us that during this 12 months, a lot of things has happened. He has served as chairman of the National Security Council. He served as chairman of ECOWAS. He still continues to chair the C10 for the canvassing of Africa's Security Council improvement. And we also see how he has also built a new, what I'll call an aerotropolis, a new diplomatic city in Lunge to ensure that we can now attract international conferences. We can attract other heads of state. We just saw the visit of the Gabonese president last week. He came here on a state visit. With what he saw, promised that we are now going to have tighter relationships to the point that we are even going to remove visa restrictions between Sierra Leoneans and Gabonese, which means that we are now going to have an extension into other areas where our children can go and learn new skills, look for new jobs, and their own people will come here, learn new cultures, and relate with other people. So we have seen that the diplomatic image of Sierra Leone has gone up. The social improvement has been a lot. You know that the health situation is easy because those of them that have elections, the World Organization, have told us to use of health. That's the one season Sierra Leone improvement and maternal maternity control by 70%, which means that we have come a long way and we are still going. So it's a good opportunity.
I'm happy you talked about the international email. Keep your slide because it's still the RAS global drug lord. I mean, just a few days ago, BBC released their recent documentary about Sierra Leone, about your slide acres. A lot of people testifying that perhaps he's still around. That he's been married to the president's daughter. Are you concerned about these allegations? Because everything now we've not heard from the president.
I am concerned that some of these allegations are what they are, allegations and rumors, and we should not really count them as fact unless we have the proof. So how can the president's daughter married to somebody, even married to anybody. And I, as presidential spokesman, don't know about that. You know, I don't know. I don't think that is true. I don't believe it is true. I think it is a wicked rumor, and I believe that we are doing our best in trying to control drugs. We are, like I said before, when you and I had an interview in your studios, is that we are an accident of geography. We are in the position where this is the shortest distance across the Atlantic from here to South America. So we are vulnerable to drug transit points. Not that they are produced here in Sierra Leone, but people coming from South America will look for the first piece of land to touch, and Sierra Leone isn't the closest. They will come here naturally. You know, the bulge of West Africa is our problem. That is where we are. It's what I call an accident of geography. So we will hope that somehow, with the controls that we are asking UNOX to help us, United Nations Office for Control of Drugs and things like that, to see how we can patrol our maritime zone to ensure that we can limit this activity.
Honorable, earlier this year, His Excellency, we're rounding off soon, but His Excellency dubbed this year as the year of delivery.
Sorry?
His Excellency said the year of delivery.
Is it? Yes, very much so. That's what you're going to hear now. Just in the next half an hour or so, you will see Port Card. He will not come here to talk to us if he was not proud. I am proud of what I have done. I am proud of the fact that here today in Sierra Leone, I cannot think of any major town or any major city that cannot say that they have electricity. We have all of that all over. As I said it before, we have electricity in Moyamba, in Pujaho, in Bond, in Bo, in Matru, in Potloko, in Lunge, in even Kalanga in Lokomasama, we have in Donsal, we have in Makeni, Magboka, Kono, and all that. So it's a big improvement. Almost every major town now has connectivity. So that is an improvement. And also, because as I said, the rice production has improved, the imports bill is reduced, and we are continuing to do that. This year, I believe that with the kind of abundant rainfall we have, we're going to have an abundant harvest, a kind of bumper harvest. So I'm looking forward to that.
What are your final comments or departing statements as you go? Sorry? Final statements to people of this country as you go, Honorable.
Well, the final statement is that today we are at the cusp of a transition. Sierra Leone is reviewing its constitution. I am pleading to the heads, to the members of parliament and all that, to ensure that they don't give us a constitution. They don't give us a Magna Carta in much the same way as King John of England allowed the barons and all that to dictate, to negotiate the Magna Carta in 1215. That has now become, they say, the only written constitution Britain has, since 1215. And that is what we are looking forward to. The MPs, our people, we're going to have a government of national unity, cohesion, regional balance, and all that sort of thing. Women's equity, and of course, disadvantaged groups will also be considered in this. The section 61, which they propose is the one that is going to give us that. So for us, let us don't have a new constitution. Let us have a Magna Carta for Sierra Leone.
Right, many thanks indeed. Honorable Alhaji Alpha Kani, Presidential Spokesman and Advisor to the President. Thank you so much for coming this morning. Wish you well.
Thank you.
In his proceedings.
Thank you. I can go now, eh?
Yes, indeed. Well, this is why perhaps we'll close Wake Up Sierra Leone for today, and it's been quite interactive. I've heard from a lot of the MPs, both from the ruling and the opposition aisle here in Parliament, who've been beaming live pictures to you from the Well of Parliament here on Tar Hill in Freetown since 8 a.m. this morning. And it's a special edition of the program. It is the state opening of the 4th session of the 6th Parliament of the Second Republic of Sierra Leone, where President Bio, of course, in an hour from now, is expected to be delivering his keynote address to the House of Parliament, about his administration's legislative reforms, priorities, achievements, and of course, plans ahead for the year 2026. Well, this is why I will say au revoir. I've been Victor Jones, of course, speaking to you since 8 a.m. this morning. Many thanks indeed to our viewers across the country who've patiently watched Wake Up Sierra Leone since 8 this morning, but it's my pleasure indeed now to join my colleague Samuel Ibrahim Kuruma, who is currently standing in the middle of the Well of Parliament this morning. Goodbye.
Yes, good morning, Victor Johnson. Good morning to our viewers and listeners who are following us from across the globe. Currently, we are here at the Well of Parliament, wherein we are, of course, following through with the state opening of the Parliament of Sierra Leone. Mind you, this is unlike the usual setting of the House of Parliament, when members of Parliament do sit to discuss issues having to do with the parliamentary processes and proceedings, and this is provided for by standing under 4 of the standing orders of Parliament, which seem the regulations of the House of Parliament. It's also in tune with sections 84 sub 3 of the Constitution of Sierra Leone, Act number 6 of 1991. Mind you, the Constitution of Sierra Leone makes provision for the president as a member of Parliament. So the president is a member of Parliament, pursuant to 73 sub 1 of the Constitution of Sierra Leone. But again, president, by the provisions of section 47 of the Constitution of Sierra Leone, it provides that the president can engage Parliament either by himself or a representatives. And I think by the setup this morning, it makes very clear that we'll have to utilize that provision, 47 of the Constitution of Sierra Leone. By the setup this morning, it tells you very clear that the seat that is being designed in green is designated for the president, and the president will be sandwiched by the first and the Speaker, the Honourable Speaker of Parliament, and also the Chief Justice is also provided for to, of course, sit closer to the President. Mind you, as it is currently within the Well of Parliament, when properly convened, we're expecting about 149 members of Parliament, including Parliament chiefs from across 14 districts. So 14 Parliament chiefs are within the House of Parliament, 54 members from the main opposition APC, and 81 members from the ruling Sierra Leone People's Party. So currently in Parliament, the opposition, the female MPs within the APC folks, they are robed in red, whereas the male are robed in, they are suited red ties and red hats, whereas for members from the ruling Sierra Leone People's Party, they are robed in green. And I've seen some fine plants from the dresses from female members of Parliament from the Sierra Leone People's Party. So if you take a look at this end, normally the house is be designed in a way that the right hand side of the Speaker is where you can find members of Parliament from the ruling Sierra Leone People's Party, whereas the left hand side of the house is where, the left hand side of the Speaker is where you can find members of Parliament from the main opposition APC. But currently, as it is now, we're still having officials from across various government ministries, departments, and agencies. I tell a colleague just now that when properly convened, we are expected to have in the House the 3 arms of government, the legislative, executive, and that of the judiciary. So these seats have been designated for government ministers. This end is designated for the Chief Minister of the Republic of Sierra Leone, the Finance Minister, the Foreign Affairs Minister, the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, the Minister of Agriculture, the Minister of Health, the Minister of Education and Political and Public Affairs, and behind are also the ministers of from across various government ministries, departments, and agencies. And that end is also designed for invitees, like I mentioned, officials from across various government ministries, the agencies. It seemed a very fine blend here this morning in the House of Parliament, wherein. And now we are just seeing the arrival of judges from within the judiciary of the Republic of Sierra Leone, and various judges. They are robed in red with they are properly robed. They are properly robed, and together with the DPP, the Director of Public Prosecution, and last of them is a judge of the High Court. A judge of the High Court recently inscribed within the fold of being a judge of the High Court. I remember at some point at the Pademba Road Magistrates Court, and now he's a judge at the High Court. So those are the judges. That sits at the far end. On the right-hand side, from where the president will be seated, those are seats that are designated for judges from within the judiciary of Sierra Leone. So, as I did mention at some point in time, that this house, when properly convened, will have representatives from across the legislative arm of government, who are the members of parliament, the executive arm of government, who are the government ministers who are well seated here, and the judiciary, these are the judges. So you have, from that end, you have judges from the Superior Court of Judicature, which is the Supreme Court, judges who sit at the Supreme Court, judges who sit at the Appeals Court, and judges who sit at the High Court. So those seats are designated for them, whereas if you take a look at this end, you'll see these seats are designed for foreign diplomats and also members from the international bodies. So at the top end of the gallery is where you have invited guests from, invited guests and well-wishers from across the looks and kind of Sierra Leone. But it seemed extremely colorful here this morning. So as you see, diplomats are having a tete-a-tete. You have, I've just seen a philanthropist from the gallery, Adonis Aboud, who is represented here this morning. And I've also seen representatives from the Ghanaian embassy and also the embassies that are here this morning to ensure they grace this all-important occasion. So it seemed very fine here this morning within the Well of Parliament. We're still waiting for the arrival of the Speaker of the House, the Speaker of Parliament, who is Speaker Sengepo Thomas, who, of course, spare the operations and activities of the House of Parliament. But nonetheless, we're still waiting. Many members of Parliament are coming in. But of course, as I did mention, we have 54, the House has 54 members of Parliament from the main opposition APC. But what seemed different this morning, two of their members of Parliament are robed in different attires. One of which is that of Honorable Mohamed Bangura, and the other is that of Honorable Alfred Ayodele Thompson, who is also robed in white. Alfred Ayodele Thompson is robed in white, whereas colleagues within his fold, the APC, many of them are robed in suits. They are well suited, having red ties and red hats, whereas female members of Parliament from the APC are robed in red, whereas those from the SLPP, they are robed in green. The male are robed in pure green, dark green, whereas the female are robed in white and green. But again, as we speak, we are yet to see the leadership of the House from both eye of the House of Parliament. So, as I mentioned earlier on, this gathering this morning is provided for by standing of the parliamentary rules, which is what it seems the parliamentary Bible. It is what guides the operations and activities of members of Parliament. And similarly, so it's a provision that is enshrined within the Constitution of Sierra Leone, Section 47, which gives the president the power. The president has the right to engage the Parliament either by himself or by a representative. So, as if you take a look, if you take a look at the find, you'll see for Vice President Victor Bokarifo has already arrived. I think a designated seat is designed for him very closer to where the First Lady will sit, together with the President, the Speaker of the House, and that of the Vice President and the Chief Justice, who is the head of the Judiciary of Sierra Leone. So on that end, you have head of parastatals that works under the various government ministries, departments, and agencies. On this end, you have ministers of government, who are heading various government ministries from across education, fisheries sector, water resources, agriculture, the Chief Justice, the Minister of the Attorney General, Minister of Justice, Internal Affairs Minister, Minister of Finance, Political Affairs, Education, and what have you. So Parliament seems a very fine place this morning. I say the whole of government is currently represented here in Parliament. The whole of government, because you have government ministries, departments, and agencies. So now, on that end, you see APC members of Parliament. APC members of Parliament are having a photo. They're having a photo, as I did mention earlier on. You see them robed in. Some are robed in dark suits. where some are robed in bluish suits with red ties and having their party colors on their head. They're having the party colors on their hand. I think it shows loyalty to their party and loyalty to their party colors. And so we're still here. Sessions, as I did mention, sessions were expected to have commenced at 10 a.m. But we're still here. We're still here monitoring issues as they unfold within the Chamber of Parliament. So if you just join us, this is the Well of Parliament, and we're following through on the fourth session of the 6th Parliament of the Second Republic of Sierra Leone. And this session will be formally opened by the President. So minded by the provisions of Standing 19, it's made very clear that the President will inform this House, inform the country as to in state of national affairs. This is where the President explains clearly his government vision for the country in the next 1 year or so. And after saying it's been done by the President, by the same provision of Standing Order 14, members of Parliament there and then are expected to debate on the issues that will be tabled in Parliament by the President, who by extension is also a member of Parliament by the provisions of sections 73 subsection 1 of the Constitution of Sierra Leone, Act number 6 of 1991. So we're bringing a live feed as to what's happening within the Well of Parliament, within and outside the Well of Parliament, because my colleagues David M. Wilson and Emmanuel Nyake Momo are also set from outside the four corners of the looks and cranny of the Parliament of Sierra Leone to ensure they bring you live feeds as to what's happening outside. So upon the arrival of President, they'll bring you live feeds on same, but I'll be bringing you live feeds from what's happening with myself and Samuel Tony Sawyer, who is the parliamentary correspondent. He's our man in Parliament, and of course myself and Tony Sawyer will be bringing you live feeds as to what's happening within the House of Parliament. So as we speak, members of Parliament are entering the well. They are entering the well. When well seated, we're expecting to have about 149 members from across the main opposition APC, the ruling Sierra People's Party, and similarly so members of Parliament, chief members of Parliament, who are 39. Who are 14 in number. The Parliament chiefs are 14 in number, and we've just sensed the arrival of the mayor of Freetown Municipality, our worship Yvonne Akinsoya, who has just arrived. In the Well of Parliament, as I said, the whole of Sierra Leone, the whole of Sierra Leone. In that I mean, the whole of Sierra Leone is seated in Parliament today, and that's one reason why you have representatives from various government ministries, departments, and agencies who are here this morning to ensure they listen carefully as to the vision of the President to steer the ship of this country for the next 1 year. So this engagement signifies the opening of a new Parliament. So, however, engagement of such caliber are only convened when the House is well seated. In that sense, I mean, engagement of this caliber cannot be convened with the absence of members, or with the absence of, say, a speaker, or with the absence of, say, a deputy speaker. The fact is, it can only be convened when debates have been completed. Debates on several instruments have been completed. Say a member of Parliament dies, he or she might have been replaced. There is no speaker. A speaker will have been appointed, and what have you. That's the only time when such an occasion will be convened. So we're still seeing a lot of government ministers are now entering the Well of Parliament, and also other dignitaries from across the international community. They also, entering the Well of Parliament, but they are seated at the gallery. Members from the international community are seated at the gallery, whereas foreign diplomats are also seated at the gallery. They are provided for, at the extreme end of of the gallery. They're provided for at the extreme end of the gallery. Whereas, of course, this end of the gallery is where members of the Fourth Estate do sit. Members of the Fourth Estate do sit, at this end of the gallery. So it's quite a fine blend here. The chamber of the wealth of where in our cities now. We're seeing members from across the various political parties. I mean, the APC and that of the SLP, because this house as it is has only the APC and that of the SLPP. The other time, a member of parliament was saying that this is the PR system. But nonetheless, the parliament chiefs, as expected, are expected to be independent. And so therefore, by the looks of the manner at which they are dressed, you see they are independently dressed. They have the members of parliament members of parliament, PCMPs are independently dressed. They are dressed in their, you see, they are not dressed in party colors and what have you. It shows the manner at which their roles and responsibilities have been crafted. So they are independently dressed. PCMPs are independently dressed. They are dressed in their normal attires. You don't see PCMPs in greenish, nor do you see them in reddish dress. By the way, it's very clear that they do represent a majority of the population of Sierra Leone, because provincial areas is where a huge number of Sierra Leoneans sit, and that's more the reason. So now, on this end, you see a very fine mixture, a very fine blend. You see a very fine blend. A member of parliament from the SLPP, Madam Songa, is having a very fine mix with members of parliament from the APC. I think it shows woman power. It shows camaraderie that exists amongst them, and it tells you that Sierra Leone is bigger than any other person, and it tells you that they as women hope to stand with one voice and in one accord. This is the beauty of the House of Parliament. It is the beauty of politics within Sierra Leone. A member of parliament the member of parliament from SLPP just asked the cameraman to kindly stop, because she wants to be she wants to be a part of the photograph. It's a very fine blend. It's a very fine blend. You see members of parliament from the APC and the SLPP having photographs. Mind you, over the past couple of days, they've clamored around issues, they've debated around issues having to do with their rights in politics, their rights in governance, their rights to ensure they are fully represented in their house. There is a safe seat for them as female members of parliament. Because according to them, the argument as even though yes,
one, two, mic check. You okay?
But that doesn't protect them. That's the argument of members of parliament from the APC. That's the argument. That even where there is a PR system, but the manner at which it has been designed, it doesn't guarantee them a safe space within the house. And so that's one reason why they're calling for a safe space. I mean, because quite recently, a member of parliament dies in Kono district. She passed away, and she was replaced by a male MP, and that's something I believe they believe is so good for them as female members of parliament. So their proposal is, when a female MP passed away, she should be replaced by a female member of parliament. So, as I did mention earlier on, government ministers, their seats are getting full. The provisions that is made for them is getting full. We've just seen a very fine handshake between one of the MPs from the ruling SLPP and that of the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation. You see the Minister of Mines, Minister of Tertiary Education, Internal Affairs, local government, fisheries, and whatever. They're all here this morning to ensure they participate in the process. Mind you, this is the fourth session of the 6th Parliament of the Second Republic of Sierra Leone. Wherein we're expecting the President to address the public on a number of institutes focuses on its mission, vision, and aspirations for the people of Sierra Leone. Such an event occurs once a year, and in every parliamentary session, the president does come to parliament and engage members of parliament, whom by extension is also a member of parliament by provisions of section 73, subsection 1. So this morning, we have just been joined by Honorable Emerson Lamina, who is from the SLPP. Honorable, it's a pleasure having you.
Yeah, thank you very much, AYP, for having me.
I sense there is an excitement this morning within the well of Parliament. Share that excitement with us.
Definitely, you can see people from the Punch and Pageantry, students to the President, we read a report card, a one-year sectional report card, the successes, the challenges he went through, and inspiration, what he aspires to do in the coming year. And it cannot be gainsaid that the President has done parade of good for a nation called Sierra Leone.
Honorable, among the many things, what do you think will be said around female in politics? You know, over the past couple of days, we've had a lot of submissions from female MPs as to their rights and responsibilities, mostly when it comes to politics, and their protections as regards to them having safe space, among other things. What do you hope to be heard from the president, mostly in terms of women in politics?
If there is anything the women of Sierra Leone can do to assist the president, to thank him. These are a set of people that comprise 52% of the population of the country. Can you imagine? But it has been an age-long marginalization on the women, age-long pushes. In this country, we have male chauvinistic tendencies.
One, two.
They do not have the money.
Make a buy if they get this down there. What do you get?
Essentially, the president, based on the TRT recommendation that recommended. Remember, President Kaba tried it, but he did not come in a crowd. Not tried. President George Madabio deserves a standing ovation by bringing it to the cabinet. He did not elect the cabinet. He brought it to parliament. Today, we have a legislation that will give women at least 30%. That's the quota they have. I will also tell you that in West Africa today, we have Senegal that beat Sierra Leone. We have second Senegal. This is a new thing President Julius Malabio has done for the women folk. That is why women, they actually need to clap and shout. Defend the president by protecting them to have presence in the legislative arm of government.
Thank you so very much, Honorable Emerson Lamina. It's a pleasure having you this morning. And similarly, so we've just been joined by a member of parliament from the main opposition APC. Honorable AKK, it's a pleasure having you. Good morning.
It's a pleasure talking to you.
Honorable, I sense excitement within the wells of parliament. And also when the president will be coming to, of course, inform the public as to chief justify and what he hopes to bring for the people of Sierra Leone. What do you expect from the president? Will you print?
It's difficult to print a speech at a time like this, just after the ECOWAS, when we've had and we've listened to what has happened. At a time like this, when we've introduced a new concept into politics, which is the parliamentary diplomacy. At a time like this, when we're at the crossroad in amending the constitution, it is difficult to predict what the president is going to say. But however, I don't expect much. Achieved. People driving from the circular road coming to this part of Parliament, if you see how abysmal the road is, then you understand exactly what it's going to say. Because the road leading to put us governance in Sierra Leone. So if you come from the model angle, whatever you see is a reflection of what Sierra Leone is as current moment.
Why are you robed in this attire?
Well, it's our normal colors. It's the red and the white. You know, it's a unique color that was picked by our founding fathers, and it's a shining red, always, which signifies love. There's a white, which signifies peace, and the black, of course, which shows we are mourning for democracy.
Honorable, peace and national cohesion is something that seems extremely paramount. How much do you think has been achieved in that regards, and what do you expect with regards missions revolving around peace?
We have as a nation to keep our peace. I want to say, as a peace expert, countries all over the world are coming to Sierra Leone to study how we've been able to settle from the 11-year-old war and how we've been able to settle ourselves. And we've not had situations where people say, this was a man who chopped off my hand, or this was a woman who burnt my house. I think that's a unique thing everybody around the world is celebrating us for. But I must tell you, we have a responsibility to do. We have a responsibility to ensure we have the required decorum we need in our country, and that in diplomacy seeks to achieve. Where there are difficulties to reach, we reach out and we do exactly what is required. If we cannot give our people the development they need, let us give them the peace they deserve.
Thanks so very much, Honorable Ekeke. It's a pleasure. We now join our colleagues. So outside, David Remy Wilson and Victor Jones, who is in our main studios and within the Parliament of Sierra Leone. Samuel Ibrahim Kuruma is my name, and I'm here with Samuel Tonisoy and Ali Bangura. Thank you.
It's a very beautiful morning here, and we're here again in the House of Parliament, of course, the legislative arm of governance. And we are live here on state opening of Parliament, and this is the fourth session of the Second Republic in the 6th Parliament. Being reminded that in 2025 we had the third session of the 6th Parliament of the Second Republic. It's really very historic here, remarkable this morning. Time really flies. I'm here with my colleague David Remy Wilson. I could recall last year, David, we were also here in the House of Parliament on the 7th of August 2025, and here are we again today, of course, awaiting the President as he gives his speech.
And since we were here at the Well of Parliament, the 7th of August 2025, and today again we're here for the state opening of the 4th session of the 6th Parliament of the Second Republic of Sierra Leone, and we're expecting His Excellency the President, Dr. Julius Bill, to make some guests, and where he will be discussing or telling the nation what his government has been done so far and what he's planning to do as a nation. But currently here, where we are standing in Parliament, is where the regimental band are actually entertaining us. We're expecting the second gentleman, who is the Vice President of Sierra Leone, Dr. Mohamed Jula Jallo, to take his guard of honor. After that, His Excellency the President will arrive pretty soon. The session is expected to commence at least 11 a.m. in the morning, and we do not know the time limit of the President's speech, whether it will be 1 hour or 2 hours. But last year's speech for the President, it took about 1 hour 30 minutes. Many say it's the shortest speech ever a president have given in the Well of Parliament.
Indeed, David Remy Wilson, I actually anticipate the dress of the president if he's going to be suited in this 4th session of the Second Republic of the 6th Parliament. It's really very amazing here And of course, on the presidential parade, as always, you always see the president walking majestically in a high level of charisma. And of course, on the red carpet this morning as well, we are here. It's really a very remarkable moment because this is the opportunity for the president to give an update on what he has done in governance. Be reminded that in his speech in 2025, he spoke about the big 5 game changers. Among other things, he spoke about the Feed Salon initiative. How far have we gone in the Feed Salon initiative? Now he says that there is an increase in rice production, more than 5%. He spoke about inflation rate at a single digit, but now inflation rate has gone to double digits. So we are actually anticipating, of course, citizens keep fingers crossed to hear what really the president is going to say again here today in this state opening of Parliament, David.
It's quite a very exciting moment for all citizens, and I know Sierra Leoneans have actually stood to their television watching AYV television as the country's vice president is about to enter into these premises, and where he will be taking his guard of honor. And then it's quite very remarkable. Yeah. It's a history. The president is going to make his address today when parliamentarians are actually discussing the amendment bill of the 1991 Constitution, which speaks about election. And many were thinking that the president will get the opportunity to say what electoral system we're going to use come 2028. Expected is whether it's a PR or force past the post. Yeah. But the members of parliament did not end the debate. So we don't know what will be the outcome of the president. I know, like you mentioned about the president Big 5, whether there progress been made into that or not, or there still more need to be done with regards to the Big 5.
Exactly, and of course in the Big 5 game changers, we are going to hear more on the Feed Salon initiative. We are going to hear more on infrastructural development and innovation. We are going to hear about youth employment and human
the country's vice president is in, Dr. Mohamed Julde Jallo.
Of course, the vice president has arrived here, and he is.
Oh, it's the president. It's the president.
The president. I beg your pardon. Oh, here's the president.
Is it now? His Excellency the President, retired Brigadier Julius Madabio.
Yes.
He's walking majestically, dressed in all white. Yeah. What a beautiful color of the president.
I actually love the African attire of His Excellency the President this morning. Of course, he is in the white, which is really different from other sessions. Yeah. There are also other sessions where the president had to be suited, but here he is in the African dress. It justifies that Sierra Leone is an independent country. It's a sovereign state.
The national anthem. That was the national anthem by the regimental band of the Sierra Leone Armed Forces.
Exactly.
Quite colorful here and delightful. His Excellency the President will be receiving his guard of honor from the 12th Infantry Command Center here in Freetown. And yeah, Nyake.
He looks very serious, of course. With his glasses on his face, and he has the African cap on top of his head, and he makes me to remember Samiti Magai, of course, in 1961 when Sierra Leone had independence. Of course, as a country, we have gone through a lot, and for the very fact that even the Constitutional Amendment Bill, we started with 1863 Constitution, of course, the Blackwall Constitution. We went to 1924 Constitution, of course, 1951, 1961, among others. It really justifies that we are an independent country. We are really democratic.
From the facial expression of the president, I don't know if he's really happy because I think he was expecting MP could have gone past, reviewing the 1991 Constitutional Electoral Act.
Exactly.
Where I could have seen that whether we should be using PR. The president is a fan of PR system. And so, from what I've sensed from him,
very easy to recognize him this morning, David.
Yeah.
Very unique this morning.
As we keep saying, security is watertight. And when His Excellency is here, and is walking majestically.
Yeah.
Brown shoe.
Yeah. Of course, he has a brown shoe and a white cap.
Yeah.
The person that may have really chosen this attire for His Excellency.
That's a beautiful
may have
attire
succeeded.
of the president.
Quite amazing. And sometimes you may want to be a president, but of course you are a journalist.
I know. And yes, I know. So from here, the president will go directly to the Chamber of Parliament, where we're expecting him to address the nation.
Exactly.
There are over 4 million Sierra Leoneans who stood by their television or listening to their radio, watching AYV live from across the globe. We're broadcasting on our DSTV channel T99, AYV channel 33, AYV channel 30. We
brought us those live feeds from outside the Well of Parliament. So that was the president. He has just arrived within the four corners of Parliament, and he will soon join us in the main Well of Parliament, where he will deliver the state's of nation address, state opening address to members of Parliament, wherein it seems more like a report card, where he will tell Sierra Leone as to what has been achieved within the last session in terms of promises that were made, and what he hopes to achieve in the next 1 year. But however, it seems government ministers are already here this morning, and you see even the members of Parliament already here, many of them. But again, as already mentioned, the leadership from both their seats seem the diplomats. You see, and so very soon the president will arrive, but I think first off will be the Speaker of Parliament, and who will arrive now. And that's the Director of Legislative, who has just asked invitees who are here this morning to ensure they get seated, and because sessions will soon convene. But as per the order of events this morning, the sessions were expected to have commenced at 10 a.m. this morning. Honorable members of Parliament asked to ensure they fill their seats, because the seats are empty. A number of seats are empty from the various end of the aisle. And now the Clerk of Parliament is forcefully asking members of Parliament to kindly take their seats, because proceedings are about to commence. And so the government ministers asked, and even the members of Parliament from both sides of the House, the SLP and that of APC, are also asked. They've been asked by the Clerk of Parliament, and it's one of his responsibility to ensure he gets the House in order. He is the administrative head of the Parliament of Sierra Leone. This is the whole of government here this morning. And the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary are well represented here this morning. You see government ministers who are well seated. The Chief Minister of the Republic of Sierra Leone is also here. He's robed in green, looking extremely greenish in his green dress. He's seated very close to the Minister of Finance and the Foreign Affairs Minister. And again, as I did mention earlier, on many of the seats of the leadership of the ruling SLPP, many of those seats are empty. The Clerk of the House is ensuring that he gets things in place, because very soon the President will soon enter the Well of Parliament. So as I did mention at some point in time, those seats at far end are reserved for the First Gentleman, the President of Sierra Leone, Dr. Julius Maada Bio, together with the First Lady, the Speaker of Parliament, and the Honorable Chief Justice of the Republic of Sierra Leone. Those seats are designed for him, and similarly, so on the other end, you see judges from the judiciary of Sierra Leone. They are all fully robed. Judges from the Superior Judicature of Sierra Leone. You have judges from the Supreme Court, those from the Court of Appeal, and those from the High Court, who are also well robed from that end. You have members from you have members from the forces of Sierra Leone, the Republic of Sierra Leone Armed Forces, the Fire Force Authority from the Sierra Leone Correctional Service, and also from the Sierra Leone Police. They are well seated, fully robed, well robed. It seems colorful. It makes it really interesting and makes it really something one would want to be a part of. Their uniforms are $900. $54 are from the main opposition APC, and we have 14 parliament chief members of parliament.
Yeah.
Very soon the president will arrive.
It is triste.
Marks the arrival of the been escorted by members of parliament from across the various political divide, the APC and the SLPP. Shows woman power. The audience are cheering her up with her favorite song. The audience are cheering her up with her favorite song. Fatima Bio, Fatima Bio. And now the members of parliament who escorted the First Lady are retiring back to their seats. Members from the female caucus of parliament, the leadership of the female caucus of parliament, that comprises members from the SLPP and that of the APC, who escorted the First Lady to take her seat. As already mentioned, those seats are reserved for the First Lady, the President, the Speaker of the House, and the Chief Justice. The crowd seems to be cheering up the First Lady. It's unlike what transpired during the last Parliament. It's unlike what transpired during the last Parliament, when First Lady seems to be having a very from members of the audience, particularly so those who are seated at the gallery. They seem to be cheering her up. they say she's beautiful and she hasn't killed anyone. It tells you we're not too far from politics. We are not too far from politics within. We are not too far from the big moment, 2028. And they are boosting our morale, saying after the panel. But nonetheless, we're here at the Well of Parliament, wherein we are following up on the 4th session of the 6th Parliament of the Second Republic of Sierra Leone, where the President is expected to address this Parliament, address this body, address this august body on what has been achieved thus far and what his government has achieved thus far, and similarly so what the public should expect from his government in the next 1 year. Mind you, the President will explain his vision and aspirations in line with the development, prospects and progress of the Republic of Sierra Leone. The whole of what seemed very clear is the President has his 5 big game changers. And now the Vice President is on his way. Vice President has just arrived in the Well of Parliament. Vice President Dr. Mohamed Julde Jallo just arrived and is being guided by the Clerk of Parliament, who is the administrative head. He's the administrative head of the House, and he's walking slowly, confidently and majestically to the designated seat of the Vice President, Dr. Mohamed Julde Jallo. Parliament seemed a very fine place this morning. Things seem so as per and up next will be and those chants were from the ruling SLPP, as they believe the more they are together, the happier they shall be, which is a song of unity, which they say is strength. The leadership of the SLPP, I mean the seats designated for the leadership of the SLPP, is still empty, and also and so next to the entry of the retired Speaker, by extension a Member of Parliament, by the provisions of 73 sub 1 of the Constitution of Sierra Leone, Act number 6 of 1991, makes very clear that the president is also a member of parliament. The president himself is a member of parliament, and by the provisions of section 47 of the Constitution of Act number 6 of 1991, it gives the president the power to convene the House, to engage the House, and same could be done by either himself or a representative. And it's one of those functions that the president will be. It's one of those functions that the president will be performing this morning. He will be addressing the House to satisfy that important section within the Constitution of Sierra Leone. Again, Parliament has its rules. It has its ethical codes that those guide the operations and activities of Parliament. And so, and now the retired Speaker of Parliament, who is himself a member of Parliament, is entering the well of Parliament, and he's and the entourage comprises of the leadership from both ends of the House, from both eye of the House, the APC and that of the SLP. In other words, I mean the minority leader of the House, Honorable Abu Kagbo, and the majority leader, who is Martin Numa, Honorable. Together with the Clerk of Parliament, together with the Deputy Majority Leader, Honorable Bashir Siliki, together with other senior members within the SLPP. And we've also seen Honorable Kwame Bangura, who is robed in a different attire. So many times the public has asked as to whether he is still a member of the APC party, because he's robed in a different attire, whereas members from the APC are they are all robed in red and black suits and having their party emblem on their hat. And the members have retired they've retired out of the well. The mace bearer has carried the mace and is taking it out of the well of Parliament. So still we're here at the well of Parliament, following through on the fourth session of the 6th Parliament of the Second Republic of Sierra Leone, where His Excellency the President, Julius Maada Bio, will when well seated, this House comprises of about 149 members of Parliament, including Parliament chiefs, members of Parliament, who are 14 in number, about 54 MPs from the main opposition APC. Two seem controversial, Honorable Thompson and that of Honorable Mohamed Bangura. Just been intimated that it could be recalled that during a similar session that was held last year, it was what gave birth to the proposal for a review of say the constitutional amendment that is yet to be approved by this House. But again, what's my challenge, or what seemed very controversial is the fact that when bills are being debated on, or say such an occasion is staged when Parliament fully completes every other duties and assignments. And now the first gentleman of the Republic, President Julius Maada Bio, is entering the Well of Parliament. The maize bearer carries the maize and he ushers in the President in the Well of Parliament. The President is being ushered in by the maize bearer, and just behind the Clerk of Parliament. His bodyguard and the leadership from both sides. The leader of the House and the minority leader of the House. So the majority leader of the House represents the ruling SLPP, and the minority leader represents the main opposition APC, together with other senior members of Parliament. I saw in his entourage the Minister of Agriculture, Dr. Musa Paka, Honorable Leone, Aruna Koroma, Honorable Mohamed Bangura, the Deputy Clerk of Parliament. And the President is marching majestically to his seat. I've just seen the Chief Justice. The President is well dressed. He is well dressed in white, very neatly printed, very neatly planted print. So the clerk has just asked members from the gallery to sit down. Members from the gallery who have been chanting.
Sheikh Abu Bakr consent to lead us in the Muslim prayers. Let us pray. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of Allah, compassionate, the most merciful. Allah, Lord of creation, who has blessed our beloved Sierra Leone with a beautiful gift of diversity and unity. We praise you, Allah. We seek your guidance and we ask for your blessings upon our beloved nation, Sierra Leone. As we gather for and witness the state opening of Parliament, we lift our hands and hearts in prayers for our President, His Excellency, retired Brigadier Dr. Julius Madam, his able Vice President, Dr. Julde Jallo. Lord, the cabinet ministers, our lawmakers, our citizens of the entire nation, Ya Allah, strengthen the unique bond of religious tolerance that defines our nation, allowing Muslims and Christians and of all citizens to stand together as one family. Almighty God, let us share the faith in your mercy. Inspire us to walk side by side, proving that our diversity is our greatest strength in building Mama Sierra Leone. Protect, Lord, our land from the seeds of division, animosity, and prejudice. Ensure that our houses of prayer and our house of parliament remain symbols of mutual respect and love. Almighty God, pray that we maintain the peace, stability, and democratic values of our beautiful country. Open the doors of economic growth, sustainable development, and abundance for every citizen from all facets of the country. We thank you, Allah, for you, Lord, for enabling our president share so much in a short time during his 1 year tenure as chairman of ECOWAS, unlocking Africa's economic potentials. We thank you for the strategic leadership he has demonstrated so far in the execution of his mandate. Ya Allah, bless him with clarity, wisdom, and strength, Lord, to champion legislations that will uplift every citizen. We pray, Lord, for your favor upon the government's legislative agenda, that it may successfully drive economic transformation, structural development, and food security. Almighty Allah, guide our members of parliament to debate every policy, bill, and agreement with patriotism, ensuring that legislative Lord priorities translate into real jobs, quality education, and bless their deliberations, and let this legislative session be marked by constructive dialogue, transparency, and a relentless pursuit of the common good. Allah, you are the salam, the source of peace. Remove all forms of division, prejudice, and self-interest from this noble chamber. Guide them, Lord, to walk in harmony, putting the peace and prosperity of our country above all self-interest. Almighty Allah, fill their hearts with the spirit of justice, equity, and cooperation, ensuring that every policy, bill, or agreement passed serves the common good and protects the vulnerable. Lord, let the decisions made within these walls bring honor to our nation and a brighter future for generations to come. Keep us united, Lord, as one people, born by Mama Leone, spirit of resilience, tolerance, and brotherhood. Oh Allah, you are the Almighty. Bless this legislative season. Open the doors of prosperity, health, and sustainable development from the shores of freedom to the farthest corners of our provinces. Lord, you are the Mujib. You are the hearer of all prayers. Bless our leaders. Bestow divine wisdom, discernment, and foresight upon His Excellency, the President, his cabinet ministers. Lord, the leadership and all members of Parliament as they deliberate on the laws of our land. Preserve, Lord, our peace and guide our parliamentarians to make decisions that will bring honor and lasting progress to our people. Transform, Lord, our nation. We are all people of diverse ethnic groups and settlement. Live in peace and not in chaos. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun. Wassalamun ala al-mursalin. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in reciting the Al-Fatiha. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الرحمن الرحيم. مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين.
Thank you very much, Sheikh. I now call on Reverend Elkanah Thomas, the Dean, to lead us in Christian prayers. In the absence of the Reverend, I'll call on the Deputy Clerk to lead us in the Christian prayers.
In this country.
Okay, all right, sorry.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, we pray. Lord, our Heavenly Father, high and mighty King of kings and Lord of lords, we, your children of this nation of Sierra Leone, gather today for the state opening of parliaments. We invite your presence to take charge over this assembly. We need your presence, your guidance, your direction and wisdom. We ask that you look down with your eye of favor upon our country, Sierra Leone. This gathering today is of men and women who are citizens of our nation, chosen to serve in parliament and government, and to direct and govern the affairs of this nation. We ask, Father, humbly, that you direct their hearts and minds and thoughts whenever they meet to deliberate and to make decisions for the good of this nation. Cleanse our land, O Father. We beseech thee, O Father, to take away corruption, selfishness, greed, wickedness, bitterness, and hatred from our hearts, and cleanse our hearts to put in us a new heart of love and unity and peace. May your peace reign over our nation. Help us to live as one people and one nation. We beseech you, Father, to behold our president, Julius, who holds the leadership mantle of this nation. We ask, Father, that you rule and direct his heart and life, his thoughts and plans, subject him to your ultimate will and ways, as your word said in Proverbs 21 verse 1. Continue to give him strength and wisdom and direction. And to those in authority under him, that they may discharge their duties and rights for the common good of this nation, and for all the citizens of this nation, and for your glory. We ask, Lord, that you prosper our nation, prosper our economy, banish all discords and whatever else that may have a tendency to disturb our unity, our peace, and freedom and justice. Help us, Lord, to love and be loyal to our country, Sierra Leone. May this gathering bring light to our nation. May this gathering change and bring a bright future, especially for our young generation, who will have to handle the baton in the future. Protect our young people and women who are vulnerable. We commend this session into your hands to take full and perfect control, so that all that will be done will bring praise and glory to our nation and to you, Lord of heaven. We commend each and every member of parliament into your hands this morning. Thank you for bringing us together in peace. Thank you for this session of parliament today. May this be a day of turning points for our nation. Bless our leaders. Bless all those who will direct the affairs of the session. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend. Proclamation 2026. By the Constitution of Sierra Leone, Act number 6 of 1991, the 6th Parliament of the Second Republic of Sierra Leone, commencement of the 4th session. Proclamation 2026. In exercise of the powers conferred upon him by subsection 1 of section 84 of the Constitution of Sierra Leone, Act number 6 of 1991, the President hereby makes the following proclamation. Now, therefore I, Brigadier Retired Dr. Julius Mada Woni Bio, President of the Republic of Sierra Leone, Supreme Head of State, the symbol of national unity and sovereignty, Grand Commander of the Order of the Republic, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Fountainhead of unity, honor, freedom, and justice, do hereby proclaim that Parliament is prorogued with effect from Thursday, 6th August 2026, and that the fourth session of the 6th Parliament of the Second Republic of Sierra Leone shall be held at Parliament Building, Tower Hill, commencing on Friday, 7th day of August 2026 at 10 o'clock in the forenoon. Made this 28th day of July 2026. Signed, Brigadier Retired Dr. Julius Mada Woni Bio, President of the Republic of Sierra Leone. Honorable Vice President, Madam First Lady, the Right Honorable Speaker of Parliament, my Lord, the Chief Justice, Ministers of Government and Members of Parliament, Your Worship, the Mayor of Freetown, Your Excellencies, members of the Diplomatic and Consular Corps, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, pray silence for His Excellency, the President.
Thank you very much. Thank you. The Honorable Vice President, the Right Honorable Speaker of Parliament, the Honorable Chief Justice, Madam First Lady, former Honorable Vice Presidents, former Right Honorable Speaker of Parliament, former Honorable Speaker of the ECOWAS Parliament, members of the Judiciary, Honorable Members of Parliament, Ministers of Government, our revered traditional and local government leaders present here, our religious leaders, the Mayor of the Municipality of Freetown, members of the Diplomatic and Consular Corps, members of the Security, Public Safety and Intelligence Services, civil society organizations, members of the Fourth Estate, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, fellow Sierra Leoneans, good morning. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, with gratitude for the journey we have made together so far, and with a sober sense of work still before us, I return to this honorable house to open the fourth session of the 6th Parliament of the Second Republic. I do so humbly, with a clear sense of constitutional duty, knowing that our authority is entrusted to us by the people and must be honored through service across Sierra Leone. Our people begin each day with hope, but also with urgent questions. A mother considers how far her earnings will stretch. A farmer thinks about the harvest and the road to market. A young graduate searches for meaningful work. A patient patiently waits for care. A citizen enters a public office expecting fair and timely service. These concerns are the business of the nation. They are the measure of our policies, the test of our institutions, and the reason we are here. This state opening is a moment of national accountability, a time to examine progress honestly, face unfinished work, and renew our responsibility to the people. Economic figures, public policies enter family lives through food prices, reliable electricity and water, the quality of schools and clinics, the condition of roads, and the dignity with which the state treats its citizens. Public office is a sacred trust. Authority belongs ultimately to the people. Our decisions must answer their needs. Our institutions uphold their rights. And every policy, resource, and reform must be measured by whether it improves their lives. As we open this session, let's pause to remember the patriots who are no longer with us. We remember the late Honorable Ernest Dura Kroma, who represented Cambia. We remember the late Honorable Musa Peter Moigwa, and the late Honorable Mariama Elagoba, both of whom represented Kenima District. We honor the late Honorable Finda Lucinda, Member of Parliament for Kono District. I pay a special tribute to the Honorable Alhaji Minkailu Mansare, former Member of Parliament, Minister of Government, and National Chairman of the main opposition, All People's Congress, who passed away in June. His decades of service showed that political differences need never erase our common duty to Sierra Leone. May their lives deepen our sense of responsibility and inspire us to serve with integrity. May their souls rest in peace. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, Their service brings us back to the trust this House carries. In this chamber, the people's representatives make laws, hold government to account, debate the direction of the Republic. Each seat carries the hopes, frustration, and expectations of Sierra Leoneans. A strong democracy needs effective government and responsible opposition. The government must lead and remain accountable. The opposition, representing millions of Sierra Leone, must scrutinize government, present alternatives, and participate fully in the work of Parliament. In that spirit, I welcome back the honorable members of the main opposition, All People's Party. Your presence ensures that the voices of your constituents are heard in this House. Sierra Leoneans do not expect agreement on every issue. They expect responsible disagreement, cooperation where possible, and placing the country above party. As we say in Creole, if me Creole better, SO2, one and not the type bundle. Meaning, one hand cannot tie a bundle. National renewal requires Parliament, the judiciary, the executive, government and opposition, institutions and citizens. Each must carry their responsibility faithfully. I commend Parliament's legislation, representation, and oversight, and I thank every honorable member for their service. The progress we have made so far is real, but it is not enough. The fourth session begins in our year of action and accelerated delivery. Every ministry, department, and agency must now turn plans into measurable results. Let us proceed with urgency and discipline, guided by the national motto that gives our republic its moral direction: unity, freedom, and justice. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, this session must establish the legislative direction for the year ahead. My government will bring measures for growth and enterprise, strengthen public resource management, justice, and national security, protect the environment and modernize laws on land, extractive industries, social protection, and public administration. A law earns public confidence when it responds to a real need, can be implemented, and improves lives. This legislative program begins with the economic conditions our people face. The comprehensive version of this address will be laid before this House, and I hope honorable members will scrutinize it carefully, as you always do. Today, I offer a snapshot of that wider record and a commitment by which my government is prepared to be judged. It is the story of our purpose, what is changing in our people's lives, where work is unfinished, and what this year of action in accelerated delivery must now make visible. I will start with the economy. Mr. Speaker, honorable members. Wars in Ukraine and the Middle East have disrupted trade and raised food, fuel, fertilizer, and transport costs. As Sierra Leoneans import many essential essentials, families feel these shocks quickly. Our duty has been to shield this country from the worst effects while building a resilient economy. We supported the currency, strengthened revenue, reduced fiscal pressure, and improved investment conditions. Real GDP grew by 4.6% in 2024 and 4.8% in 2025. Inflation fell to 4.4% in December 2025, its lowest in nearly 2 decades. And that is before the higher oil prices pushed it back to 10.8% in April 2026 and now to 14.8% June. We responded with temporary fuel support and continued electricity tariff subsidies. The exchange rate depreciated by less than 1% in 2025, protecting purchasing power. Treasury B rates fell, while private sector lending rose by 50%, giving businesses room to invest and employ. Our trade deficit narrowed by about 1/3. Domestic revenue rose to 18 billion leones, and public debt fell as a share of GDP. Our IMF Extended Credit Facility program remains on track. Reviews in December 2025 and June 2026 released approximately 79.8 million and $31.7 million. A further $211.4 million under the Resilience and Sustainability Facility will strengthen climate resilience. I thank the IMF for its continued partnership. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, in 2025, we brought 12 new development agreements worth $374.9 million into effect, while disbursements to ongoing supported projects reached $254.4 million. The World Bank Group and African Development Bank helped develop Mission 300, our landmark national energy compact, requiring an estimated $2.2 billion. The Millennium Challenge Corporation is providing $480.7 million, alongside $14.2 million from the government for the Power Compact. The European Union, European Investment Bank, IFAD, Islamic Development Bank, OPEC Fund, the Global Fund, the United Nations System, Denmark, and other bilateral partners support agriculture, health, education, water, digital connectivity, social protection, and climate resilience. I thank their representatives here today for their confidence in Sierra Leone. We We will honor that confidence through transparent management and disciplined delivery. Stabilization is taking hold. Recovery must now enter daily lives through more affordable food, transport, and electricity, more work, and better public services. I know how urgent our people want to feel that change. Trade, industry, and private sector development. Honorable Speaker, honorable members of Parliament, my government is simplifying business processes, expanding access to finance, and reducing business costs, especially for small businesses, women-owned enterprises, and companies creating jobs for the young people. Sierra Leone must retain more value for its resources through local manufacturing and processing. This creates jobs, develops skills, and opens ECOWAS and African Continental Free Trade Area markets. A more productive economy is our strongest defense against external shocks and the central purpose of the Big Five game changers. The Big Five game changers, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I have already spoken about in this House. The Big Five game changers translate our medium-term National Development Plan 2024 to 2030 into tangible improvements in people's lives. They are mutually reinforcing. Agriculture requires roads, energy, technology, and skills. Growth depends on a healthy, educated population, and effective delivery requires capable institutions. In this year of action and accelerated delivery, our success will be measured by visible progress, closed gaps, and completed projects. Feed Salon, agriculture and food security. Honorable Speaker and honorable members of Parliament, I begin with Feed Salon because food security affects every household and offers one of our greatest opportunities for jobs, investment, and rural transformation. Rice production increased in 2025, raising self-sufficiency from 68% in 2023 to 73%, and reducing our rice import bill by more than 18 million United States dollars. In 2026, we are supporting the cultivation of 21,810 hectares of priority crops. The Sierra Leone Agricultural Research Institute released 18 improved varieties of rice, cassava, and maize, while local enterprises have supplied all the rice seeds for 3 consecutive years. Cocoa, cashew, and coffee exports generated 107.8 million United States dollars last year for this country and farming communities. The 35% duty on imported eggs encouraged 3 leading farms to stock 45,000 birds, expanding local production and employment. In Leone, expanded onion cultivation created jobs for more than 500 women and cut prices from 50 leones to 34 leones. We have mobilized more than $45 million for agricultural credit agribusiness, including women and youth-led enterprises. The Livestock and Livelihood Development Project, worth $105 million, will benefit over 62,000 households in 11 districts. We continue to support farmers with improved seeds, credit, insurance, irrigation, livestock services, and rural infrastructure. Locally produced rice now feeds 270,000 school children daily. And that is providing farmers with reliable market while supporting children's education. The World Food Programme reports severe food insecurity falling from 28% of households in 2023 to 14% in 2025. Progress is clear, but 14% remains too high. We will accelerate irrigation, mechanization, processing, and rural connectivity. Feeds alone will ultimately be judged by what farmers earn, what families pay for food, and whether Sierra Leone can increasingly feed itself. Fisheries and marine resources. Honorable Speaker, members of Parliament, food security extends from our farms to our rivers and territorial waters. Fish remains the main source of animal protein for many families and sustains livelihood across coastal communities. Sector revenue increased by 12.6 million leones in 2025. Our 10-year feed silo strategy will increase production and local processing, combat illegal fishing, and use the export certification portal to help producers meet international standards and reach new markets. The proposed $55 million fish harbor at Black Johnson will reduce spoilage, expand market access, and retain more value within Sierra Leone. By increasing agricultural and fisheries production, we can improve nutrition, raise income, and strengthen national resilience. This brings me to the second game changer, human capital development. Basic and senior secondary education. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, Sierra Leone's greatest asset is its people. Our future depends on every child learning and every young person acquiring the skills and knowledge to lead a productive life. The $15.3 million Salon Picking for Land and Initiative gives over 29,000 children This initiative gives 29,000 children play-based learning in 87 communities around this country. School feeding now reaches over 1 million pupils in all 15 districts. improving attendance and easing pressure on families. We have trained more than 31,000 primary and early childhood teachers and supervisors, identified over 108,000 out-of-school children, and developed an accelerated curriculum to return vulnerable learners to the classroom. Household income should never determine whether a child can sit the national examination. In 2025, 78% of candidates passed the MPSC. And 94% passed the Becker, while the government covered WAS fees for nearly 180,000 candidates. These investments must be protected by integrity. Examination malpractice undermines our children and our future workforce. Anyone who enables it, public official, principal, teacher, parent, or pupil, must face the full force of the law. Amen. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, our technical and higher education institutions must equip graduates with practical skills and knowledge relevant to the economy. We are investing in infrastructure, faculty development, digital learning, governance, and quality assurance. The NCTVE Act 2025 and the Tertiary Education Commission Act 2025 modernized sector regulations and revived the National Science, Technology, and Innovation Council. The Fulbright College University Innovation Port helps young innovators transform ideas into products and businesses. Vocational programs now connect training more closely to apprenticeship and employment. The Commonwealth's first national micro-credential framework enables employers to recognize practical skills acquired through technical and vocational education. As Fulbright College approaches its bicentenary in 2027, we will honor 2 centuries of service by reviewing the and our wider education system for future generations. Honorable Speaker, members of Parliament, education creates opportunity. Health enables our people to realize it. Maternal mortality fell 70% over the last decade. While skilled attendance and institutional delivery now exceed 95% in Sierra Leone. To sustain progress, we launched the 300 Days of Activism for 000 in March 2026. The Paul E. Farmer Maternal Center of Excellence in Kono now has 100 beds. That hospital now has 100 beds, 3 operating theaters, and our first rural neonatal intensive care unit, serving more than 2,000 We also opened the country's first dedicated burns unit, installed our first CT scanner at Connaught and Kennyman regional hospitals, and began deploying 15 dialysis machines for life-sustaining kidney treatment. Childhood immunization exceeded the national target of 90%. Over 1.7 million children are vaccinated against measles, rubella, and polio, while HPV vaccination among girls aged 11 to 18 has reached 99%. We are strengthening health insurance, emergency care, diagnostics, and the supply of essential medicines to reduce shortages, improve early diagnosis, and bring quality care closer to our people. Good health also requires safe water and sanitation. 26 chiefdoms are now free from open defecation. With our partners, including a $40 million World Bank WASH grant, we are expanding safe water, sanitation, hand washing, and disease prevention. Human capital development must lead to dignity, opportunity, and work. So this brings me to the third game changer, youth employment. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, 3 years ago we set an ambitious target to create 500,000 jobs within 5 years through the youth employment scheme. Since then, young Sierra Leoneans have gained employment and practical experience in agriculture, construction, public works, community development, environmental management, and digital services. A commitment of this scale demands transparency. I have directed that the verified cumulative employment figure be published, clearly stating what is counted, the sector involved, and job durations. One program already supports 8,000 youth-led enterprises. We will also connect vocational and digital training more closely to apprenticeship, employers, and decent work. Government cannot achieve this alone. Businesses, financial institutions, businesses, financial institutions, and civil society must help expand opportunities while strengthening workplace safety, labor rights, and social security compliance. Skills and enterprises require reliable electricity, accessible markets, and stronger economic connections. Technology and infrastructure. Mr. Speaker, honorable members. Infrastructure shapes daily life. Roads connect farmers to markets. Electricity keeps hospitals operating after dark. And affordable internet opens access to knowledge, services, and opportunity. The second submarine fiber optic cable, supported by $15 million from the World Bank, will strengthen international connectivity. Wholesale bandwidth costs fell by 70%, making digital services more reliable and affordable. Passport, work permit, resident permit applications are now online, while the National Instant Payment Switch enables real-time payment, reducing journeys, queues, and lost working time. We relaunched a Syriatel through a mobile virtual network operator partnership, retaining public ownership while introducing private sector enterprise. The new National Communications Authority headquarters and National Data Center will strengthen regulation, data security, and digital service delivery. Sierra Leone's first national artificial intelligence strategy will guide responsible innovation across education, health, agriculture, government, and business. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, reliable, affordable electricity underpins National Development Plan. Our $2.2 billion Mission 300 Energy Compact aims to increase electricity access from 36% in 2024 to nearly 80% by 2030, connecting at least connecting at least 720,000 more households. The CLSG Rural Electrification Project has provided 12,000 connections in over 25 communities. The Enhancing Sierra Leone Energy Access Project installed over 10,000 metered connections, while solar home systems reached another 12,000 households. Solar power now serves thousands of households, more than 200 schools, and nearly 200 health facilities. The Newton and Longe solar plants alone have connected more than 50,000 people. The 40-megawatt respite solar project, the largest single renewable addition to the grid, should benefit over 40 western rural communities. Other projects include the Bo Kenima expansion and Bumbuna rehabilitation, doubling its capacity. A 180 megawatts combined cycle plant should supply electricity from the first quarter of 2027. For families, electricity means light for children to study, for hospitals and clinics, safer care, and for businesses, the power to produce and grow and create jobs. Roads, bridges in Sierra Leone. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, since 2018, my government has paved more than 474 kilometers. We have built or rehabilitated 23 bridges and commenced 26 major road projects. These are shortened journeys, lower transport costs, strengthened trade, and improved access to markets, schools, and healthcare. Next is the Cambia Tompari Kamakwi Road. Thank you. This is going to be supported by $70 million from the Islamic Development Bank to strengthen trade access to markets and services, land, housing, and urban development. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, urban growth strains lands, housing, drainage, and public services. Replacing a 1946 law, the Town and Country Planning Act 2025 provides a modern framework for safer and better planned development. We will make land administration more transparent, reduce disputes, and expand affordable housing. Secure land ownership gives families confidence and businesses a foundation for investment. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, Sierra Leone must use its maritime position for trade, fisheries, tourism, and regional connection. Modern fisheries, safer navigation, and faster cargo clearance will lower costs and connect coastal communities. Reports, of course, linking Sierra Leone to illegal drug trafficking are deeply concerning. We will strengthen maritime surveillance, cargo inspection, and coordination among custom, port, law enforcement, and intelligence agencies. Criminal networks will not be permitted to use our territory, waters, airports, or ports. Every credible allegation will be independently and thoroughly investigated. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, infrastructure connects our country and also allows our institutions to turn those connections into reliable public services. This brings me to our fifth game changer, transforming the public service architecture. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, in this year of action and accelerated delivery, government must operate at the speed and standard our people deserve. Whether in schools, clinics, district offices, or service centers, every citizen should receive efficient, fair, and respectful treatment. We are modernizing administration with measurable targets for institutions and senior officials. Progress will be published, delays explained, failures corrected. Digital reforms already improve health workers' registration, disease surveillance, energy fault reporting, as well as security service personnel and pensions. We will integrate databases, expand secure online services and electronic payments, and protect privacy and personal data. The National Population and Housing Census. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, effective public services require knowing where people live and what they need. The 2026 Population and Housing Census will guide fair allocation of schools, clinics, water systems, and other services. The census must be credible. inclusive, and professional. I urge every citizen to participate, and every political, traditional, religious, civic, and media leader to promote public understanding, counter misinformation, and safeguard the integrity of the process. Reliable data will help us measure whether development is reaching every community. Equally, fair development requires protection of public resources. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, corruption takes resources from schools, hospitals, roads, and services. It erodes trust and raises business costs. We will strengthen asset declarations, procurement oversights, expenditure control, and enforcement of audit findings. We are reviewing the public financial management, public debt management, and public procurement acts to deepen discipline and value for money. We are preparing the electronic government procurement system and have rolled out digital audit follow-up software across government and deployed PFM Smart to all 21 local governments. Public institutions must resolve audit queries and recover misappropriated funds. Every Leone protected from waste or theft can serve a classroom, clinic, road, or community. No office, status, or political affiliation will shield anyone from lawful scrutiny. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, local government is where most citizens directly experience the state. We will devolve responsibilities with corresponding resources and strengthen local revenue mobilization and improve coordination with the central government. Local councils must manage these resources transparently and deliver visible improvement in roads, markets, water supply, and sanitation, health, and education. Paramount chiefs and traditional authorities remain an indispensable part of our leadership architecture for peace building and social cohesion. They must continue to serve with accessibility, impartiality, and responsiveness. The technical committee, led by the Honorable Vice President, will examine the proposal to increase paramount chief representation in Parliament from 1 to 2 representatives. Its work will be consultative, evidence-based, and firmly grounded in our Constitution and laws. Decentralization succeeds when institutions cooperate and citizens experience tangible improvements in their communities. The same principle of accountability must guide the management of our national resources. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, Sierra Leone may be approaching an important new chapter in oil and gas. Recent seismic studies have improved our understanding of the offshore basin and renewed international interest, although only drilling can confirm commercial discovery. Global energy companies like ENI, Shell have acquired reconnaissance permits to access the basin's potential, strengthening Sierra Leone's position as a frontier exploration destination. My government has also concluded negotiations with Marginal Energy Limited for a proposed investment of at least $225 million over 7 years, subject to parliamentary approval. This investment must build local capacity and create meaningful opportunity for Sierra Leonean businesses and professionals. Sierra Leone has joined the proposed $26 billion Africa Atlantic gas pipeline link in Nigeria and Morocco. This project has the potential to advance regional integration, energy security, and investment. The Sierra Leone National Petroleum Company Limited will serve as the state's commercial arm across the petroleum value chain. Petroleum holds great promise, but that promise must be managed with discipline. Any discovery must deliver lasting value to the state, develop Sierra Leonean enterprise, and remain subject to rigorous public oversight. Mining. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, Sierra Leone's mining mineral wealth must deliver greater prosperity to our people. Mining, of course, remains our greatest source of foreign exchange and a major contributor to public revenue, employment, and economic stability. Mineral exports reached $1.3 billion in 2025, an increase of 16% over 2024. The sector generated $55.8 million in non-tax revenue and supported 15,543 former jobs, more than 92% of them held by Sierra Leoneans. In the first half of 2026, mineral exports declined by 8.2% to $651.7 million, mainly due to lower mineral sands and diamond exports. However, non-tax revenue increased by 21% to $30.2 million. Former employment grew by 10.3%, and gold exports rose by 410.6%. Gold is therefore emerging as the second pillar of the sector. Yet iron ore still accounted for 73.3% of mineral exports, with one operator responsible for 64.9%. Diversification is therefore essential to protect our economy from shocks affecting any single commodity or company. The issuance of 20 new exploration licenses in 2025 demonstrates renewed investor confidence in the sector. My government is formalizing artisanal mining and promoting value addition while strengthening price verification, interagency revenue coordination, and digital mines in minerals management system. Our objective is greater transparency and a fair return to sea revenue. We are also working with companies, workers, and communities wherever suspended operations or restructuring threatens jobs or local stability. In 2025, 2 major mining companies contributed approximately 146 million leones to community development funds. These resources must be managed transparently and invested in local priorities, including roads, water, schools, healthcare, and sustainable livelihoods. Mining companies must also fulfill their environmental obligations, rehabilitate affected land, and protect host communities. Women represent 18.6% of the mining workforce. While their representation in senior management has risen from 15 to 20%. This progress must be supported because no development that excludes women can be considered truly national development. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, progress in mining is measured not by how much we export, but by how mineral wealth improves lives. We will create decent jobs, strengthen Sierra Leonean businesses, and equip our engineers, geologists, and other professionals to lead world-class mining operations. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, our natural resources must build our future without destroying the land, waters, and communities that sustain us. Climate change is already affecting lives. Flooding, coastal erosion, and changing rainfall patterns threaten homes, farms, health, and livelihoods. While illegal logging and indiscriminate tree cutting destroys our forests and watersheds. Vulnerable communities bear the greatest burden. As the heaviest rains approach, all responsible agencies must prepare and respond swiftly. We will clear waterways, strengthen drainage, and early warning systems. Enforce planning laws and prevent construction in high-risk areas. Citizens must heed official warnings and stop dumping waste in drains and waterways. Protecting our communities requires responsibility from all of us. Where relocation is necessary to protect lives, it must be lawful, humane, and properly supported. We will restore degraded ecosystems and protect our forests, mangroves, and wetlands, and also other coastal areas. Climate resilience must guide the development of our cities, agriculture, and infrastructure. Lasting development must protect both our people and the environment on which they depend. We have only one Sierra Leone, and safeguarding it is our shared national cohesion and development. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, our progress depends on peace, trust, and shared purpose. Development must reach every region, every Sierra Leonean, regardless of ethnicity, gender, or political affiliation. Political disagreement is natural in a democracy. Tribalism, hate speech, misinformation, and violence divide our people and weaken the republic. Whatever our differences, we are all Sierra Leoneans first. In this spirit, I acknowledge the decision of the Attorney General and Minister of Justice under Section 45 of the Criminal Procedure Act 2024 to discontinue proceedings against former President. Former President Nkrumah remains part of our national history, and I trust he will continue to support Sierra Leone's peace, unity, and democracy. I call on all sides to receive this development with maturity and continue the work of national healing. Lasting reconciliation must rest on the rule of law, institutional confidence, and commitment to a shared future. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, access to justice, national security, and the rule of law. Peace, security, and the rule of law are foundations of democracy, national development, and investor confidence. Every citizen must trust that their rights will be protected and disputes resolved fairly. We are strengthening the judiciary and other justice sector institutions to expand access, reduce delays, and improve efficiency and transparency. We are also investing in judicial infrastructure, law enforcement, and correctional services to protect the public while upholding the rights and dignity of every citizen. Justice must be accessible, timely, and equal for all. Electoral reforms and democratic governance. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, nowhere is public confidence more important than in the integrity and credibility of our electoral process. We remain committed to credible elections, constitutional government, and peaceful transfer of power. We will implement the reforms arising from the Agreement for National Unity, and the recommendations of the Tripartite Committee to strengthen our electoral institutions and transparency. This responsibility belongs to government, parliament, the judiciary, electoral institutions, political parties, and civil society. Trust grows when commitments are measurable and outcomes independently verified. Civic engagement and public information. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, democracy requires institutions that listen and respond to the people. Consultations, town halls, media briefings, and digital platforms help government explain decisions and understand public concern. We will strengthen civic education and access to information while addressing misinformation responsibly and respecting freedom of expression and media independence. Citizens have a right to be heard, and government has a duty to remain accountable. Accountability at home also strengthens Sierra Leone's voice abroad. Foreign affairs and international relations. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, Sierra Leone's journey from war to peace and regional leadership has strengthened our international standing. In July 2025, regional leaders elected me as chair of ECOWAS Authority. The first Sierra Leonean president in over 40 years, and amid terrorism, unconstitutional government changes, and economic pressures. During our tenure, Sierra Leone advanced dialogue, constitutional governance, cooperation against terrorism, and organized crime. We have promoted engagement with Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, regional trade and infrastructure, food and health security, and opportunity for young people. In November 2025, during Sierra Leone's tenure on the United Nations Security Council, I chaired a high-level debate on regional peace and security, bringing West Africa's priority to the center of global deliberations. Our ECOWAS Authority chairmanship concluded with the media statutory meeting and 69th ordinary session in Leone. During which time we welcomed over 1,000 delegates, including 7 heads of state. The summit placed Sierra Leone at the center of regional decision-making and supported local hotels, transport providers, caterers, and other businesses. I thank the officials, security personnel, volunteers, businesses, and citizens whose dedication made this occasion possible. The newly commissioned state-of-the-art Julius Maada Bio International Conference Center and the ECOWAS Logistics Depot will continue to support diplomacy, business, and peace support readiness from Sierra Leone. In November, the West Africa Integration and Investment Summit, our own, will bring leaders and investors back to Leone to advance projects in energy, strategic minerals, agribusiness, and digital transformation. Our leadership abroad must deliver value at home through investment, jobs, security, skills, and wider markets for Sierra Leonean businesses. This is the standard by which our people will judge it. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, let me conclude. Let me conclude. I began this address with the principle that public office is a sacred trust. That conviction remains. Policies, investment, international recognition matter only when they make real and lasting difference in the lives of our people, that is the people that we serve. We have made progress in food production, education, healthcare, infrastructure, youth employment, and public administration. Yet, serious challenges remain. Families face high living costs. Young people still need more work. Communities need services. And citizens deserve responsive institutions. We see and hear these concerns and are acting on them. This year of action and accelerated delivery must be judged by completed projects, better services, stronger institutions, and measurable improvements in daily lives. Before the next state opening of Parliament, we will increase food production in this country. We will expand electricity and clean water, complete priority roads and bridges, and improve healthcare and education. We will create paths to skills, work, and enterprise for young people and women, strengthen public service delivery, reduce delays, and continue building an economy that creates jobs and raises living standards. Every ministry, department, or agency will be held to clear, measurable targets judged by delivery, discipline, transparency, and value for money. Performance will be reviewed, progress published, delays explained, and failures corrected. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, at my recent presidential town hall in Makeni, where eggs are the cheapest in this country, from Kenya, congratulations. It's a piece of marketing. I'm promoting agriculture in Makeni. They have the cheapest. In Makeni, I met Kadiatu, a young mother from rural Mobali, who became pregnant at the age of 15 and left school for 4 years. Through skills training and opportunities in agriculture and enterprise, she rebuilt her life and now earns income to support her child. Her story reminds us that national transformation is lived one person, one family at a time. But our true measure is the farmer who produces and earns more, the child who remains in school, the mother who survives childbirth, the young person who finds meaningful work, and the citizen who is treated fairly in a government office. Honorable members, in this session, remain close to your constituencies. Your constituencies are your district and my constituency. Constituencies are your district, my constituency is Sierra Leone. Thank you. Listen to your people, bring their priorities into this chamber, enact laws and protect public resources. The executive, the legislature, and judiciary have distinct mandates, of course, but we serve this one republic, Sierra Leone. We must respect our responsibilities and work together in the national interest. Government cannot do all of this alone. National development is a shared undertaking. I thank Parliament, Cabinet, public servants, local councils, traditional leaders, religious leaders, the judiciary, the security services, civil society, the media, Sierra Leoneans in diaspora, and the private sector for their service. I also thank our development partners, friendly nations, and international organizations for their sustained confidence and support. Above all, I thank the people of Sierra Leone for their resilience. carried heavy burdens and rightly expect delivery, and we will deliver. We will listen, and we will correct failures and remain focused on the results that matter in daily lives.
It's nice.
Let this fourth session place country above religion, tribe, and region, and of course, party. Let it be remembered for sound laws, responsible oversight, and decisions that improve lives. Together, let us complete the work, turn Sierra Leone's potential into lasting prosperity, and leave our country stronger, guided by unity, freedom, and justice. May God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, bless this people. May God bless the people of Sierra Leone, guide this honorable house, and bless our republic. Momono, thank you.
Honorable Vice President, the Right Honorable Speaker, Madam First Lady, my Lord the Chief Justice, Ministers of Government, Honorable Members of Parliament, Your Worship the Mayor of Freetown, Your Excellencies, members of the Diplomatic and Consular Corps, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. His Excellency's address will now be received and laid on the table of this House by the Majority Leader and Leader of Government. On a motion of thanks to His Excellency the President.
Now the Leader of Government Business, Honorable Martin Lima, who is the Majority Leader in the House of Parliament, is receiving the speech that has just been delivered by the President, Dr. Julius Maada Bio, and same will be table in Parliament for a 5-day debate. This is pursuant to SO 14, Standing Orders 14 of the Parliamentary Standing Orders, and it's they call it the Bible of Parliament as it guides the manner to which Parliament is being run. It guides sessions in Parliament and the manner to which Parliament carries itself. Mind you, he has just tabled the speech of the President. The speech is covered with wine. It looks more like a maroon. Yeah, but some will call it wine.
Madam First Lady, my Lord the Chief Justice, ministers of government and honorable members of parliament, Your Worship the Mayor we leave the chamber and break the silence. By the Vice President, Madam First Lady, the Right Honourable Speaker, the leader of government business, the leader of opposition and other leaders of the opposition, to the Speaker's suite on his way to State House. Please wait patiently in your places for Mr. Speaker to return for further information and to adjourn this House.
That marks the end of the state opening of the fourth session of the sixth Parliament of the Second Republic of Sierra Leone, as the President takes his exit from the Well of Parliament, and the President, together with the First Lady, the Vice President, the Speaker of Parliament, the Clerk, and the majority and minority leaders from both eye of the House, together with other senior members from within the Parliament of Sierra Leone, making their way out of the Well of Parliament. A lot of handshakes from these members of Parliament and members from the bashing from the members of Parliament from the main opposition APC who were here this morning. Not too much of a bashing. But again, the President did commended the main opposition APC for having graced today's occasion. The fact is, a well-knitted democracy requires the participation of the opposition, because the President said you cannot be right at all time. You cannot be right at all time. But again, you disagree to agree and agree to disagree. Currently, we still have government ministers who are well seated. The Attorney General receives a lot of commendation from the President, largely as a result of his decision pursuant to the provisions of sections 45 of the Criminal Procedure Act that provides for nolle prosequi, which gives him the power to end any criminal matter against whosoever it could be, just as it was the case, the former President Sanisbai Koroma, or whatsoever the case might be, or any other citizen. He has a power, hence a conviction hasn't been handed. He has a power to discontinue a matter. He has a power to discontinue matter. But nonetheless, we still have members of parliament from the ruling party and the opposition who are still seated here in parliament. And we're waiting on the speaker who will come and make the relevant announcements on peradventure and on peradventure an adjournment of the House of Parliament. But nonetheless, I'm here with Samuel Tony Sawyer, who is my colleague, and he'll be taking you guys through what's currently happening in Parliament. Tony Sawyer, I've been following the engagement this morning. I think there's a lot to be talked about, a lot that was said by the President as to his state of the address. Tony Sawyer.
Yes, Samuel, this morning has been a very busy one, and all eyes, all ears were glued to their TV set, and even here us in Parliament, we are closely following what the President delivered, as this action is powered by Section 84.3 of the 1991 Constitution. It comes to give account of what his government has been faring on in the past year. And so in his speech today, just as my colleague Samuel said, he welcomed the opposition, noting that politics and unity should work together rather than disunity. The President also... The Speaker is back in the Well of Parliament, seated. Is now calling on honourable members to resume their seats as he will make adjournment for the House. Nonetheless, again, in the speech of the President, it was captured. Several things were captured by the President.
With the leave of Mr. Speaker, invited guests are directed to assemble for refreshments at the following places immediately after adjournment, with support by protocol officers for ease of access. All invitees for the Speaker's cocktail, including the leadership of Parliament, ministers and diplomats, will assemble at the State Hall of Parliament. MPs and their spouses at the canteen. Judges at the Speaker's conference room. Tribal heads in the office of the MST, the members' service team. Other invitees at the lower gallery and upper galleries will be served as they come out of the galleries. The press will be served by Mr. Suleiman Bar, a press officer. Thank you very much. Adjournment.
Honourable members, this sitting is adjourned to Monday, the 10th of August 2026 at 10 a.m. prompt.
Now the Speaker has just adjourned for Monday, 10 a.m. Thus shall the sitting continue for the fourth session on Monday. So the Speaker is now leaving the chambers of Parliament, and all is now standing so that he can take his exit. He has adjourned for Monday, but however in the last sitting, Monday is supposed to be a continuation of the third session, where they shall continue the debate on the Constitution Amendment Bill. Again, in the address made by His Excellency the President, we saw clearly where he also recognized that the concerns about the drug issues in the country is confirmed, and that he and his government will see that they carry out swift investigation into same and ensure that all perpetrators are brought to book. The President also mentioned, he made several promises while closing his address, that by the next opening of Parliament, we shall see massive improvement in rice production. President Bio also mentioned that we will see improvements in health, and there will be improvements in the education sector and other areas of government also. The president also mentioned while speaking in his address that there are several constraints eminent within the country, but he and his cabinet are working towards addressing and dealing with these challenges. Back to his big five, the president, while starting off his speech, mentioned clearly that he will ensure that the feed salon agenda receive a massive boost. He mentioned that over 2,000 school children were being fed daily from the Feed Sierra Leone project, and he also mentioned that the president also mentioned that we will see a massive boost in fisheries and other things. He also mentioned that education will see a massive boost. I am here again with my colleague Samuel Ibrahim Koroman this afternoon as we continue to look at some of the Samuel. A lot of promises were being made by the president while he was giving his address. He also highlighted that come next state opening, this will be tangibles.
Exactly, that was what the president did say. The president said, come next state opening, there will be tangibles rather than just mere promises or whatsoever the case might be. But again, as it is now in the Well of Parliament, you see members from the main opposition APC, they seem to have wanted to take a family photograph, having members not just those within the Well of Parliament, but those from the executive, including the party's current chairman. But then again, quite a lot was said by the president. This seemed more of the president did take a retrospective look as to what the president did. The president had what one could describe as a retrospective look as to what has been achieved over the past couple of years. He did mention a lot of things. A lot was said. Again, he did.
That's the All People's Congress Party chanting their party anthem there with their supporters and their leadership also joining them as they chant. That's them clad there in their red and white as they are all set. Again, well, viewers, we are live in the Well of Parliament as the president has just concluded his speech before honorable members and the country as a whole. Like my colleague was saying, a lot was said by the president here in the Well of Parliament this afternoon. Another major issue which the president delved into while making his speech was that having to do with the discontinuation of charges against former President Koroma, which occurred a few weeks back. The president mentioned that the former statesman, President Koroma, remained a crucial part of Sierra Leone's democracy. He mentioned that unity should be what drives the political ideology of the country. Also, he mentioned that representatives of the people should be close to their constituents. A statement which received some sides comments from the other who started to tap their tables. And he also quickly adjusted the statements to state that their constituents is their districts and he is the representative of Sierra Leone as a whole. That's all, as he was saying that unity should be what goes for the seconds. So Samuel, as we were saying, to House will continue on the amendment bill.
Time that SO 14 of the Standing Orders of Parliament makes provision for the business of the House to commence on say the speech that will have been delivered by the President. So with the Speaker pronouncing Monday as the amendment date for a debate on set documents is something that is no surprise because it's been provided for by the Standing Orders. But again, quite a lot was said, as you rightly mentioned. The President, I believe, at some point in time stated that the ministries, departments, and agencies must turn their plans into measurable results. He spoke around peace and national cohesion, but his disposition, speaks volumes, says quite a lot as to the nature of the speech that was delivered. There was not too much of a side talk or bashings from the opposition's end. I believe they paid they paid great attention as to his speech. More so, there was an area wherein the President did commended the Attorney General and Minister of Justice as to his positions, his actions, or his position with regards Section 45 of the Criminal Procedure Act that talks about his power to nullify a matter that is in court. The President commended him on such a move because, according to the President, he did say that it is one that promotes unity, peace, and national cohesion. At some point in time, when he was about to make that statement, he did reference the motto in the country's coat of arms that talks around unity, freedom, and justice. He spoke around the judiciary of Sierra Leone, which, according to him, he did promise a stronger judiciary and also promised infrastructural boost for the judiciary, among other things. I think it's quite an interesting conversation this morning. But however, at the background speaks volume. The fact is, we have APC MPs being mixed or been having a very fine blend with that of the SLPP MPs. It says quite a lot. It says quite a lot as to the beauty of the House of Parliament. But again, Honorable Ekike was in Parliament when the President delivered his speech. I know the bill. I know the speech of the President has been tabled. But again, Honorable, before the President delivered his speech, I did engage you as to your expectation, or would you preempt the speech of the President and what's your view? But what's your take generally as to the statement that was delivered by the President in the Well of Parliament?
Nothing is new, and nothing I did not expect was there. When he mentioned roads like the Tompare Bridge, another bridge that other roads he's going to do, these are rhythms that they are continual like the national anthem. They've always been around us. They've always been there. Every other year, the President will tell you about 8 good years, the same promises. And when you talk about economic reforms, the President was talking about the drop in inflation, but he's not talking about the recent increase in inflation also. So there are many things that are left out. When you talk about employment, even the gallery that was there to applaud the President, they were silent because they themselves know they don't have the jobs. So these are some of the concerns and some of the issues we have to deal with during the debate.
When the President was about to talk around finances and what have you, predicated his speech on that of the Ukraine war, don't you think same was realistic? Don't you think the impact of that war seemed very realistic in Sierra Leone, in line with the manner at which, in line with the nexus the President couched around that particular aspect?
Even Ukraine itself is more now economic buoyant than Sierra Leone. How can you cry more than the bereaved? Those are not serious indicators for our economic downturn. Our economic downturn needs more, it's more of, we need to inject more into the economy. I have said, one, we have the GST. Let's intensify we collect our GST. You go to most places, restaurants around the country, people have the GST machine, they are not using it. So we've passed the point of, if we want our economy to be buoyant, where we just talk about other international factors, let's take serious national action. It is true, we've overtaxed our people, but in areas where it's on a daily basis, our people pay the government. Spend the next 6 months and how economic buoyancy you will see our country.
The statement has already been tabled in Parliament and debated members.
On education and the economy. We pray by the time we start debating, the AYV will be here to give live coverage and other media outlets. The problem we have is a problem in which 99.9% of our public do not follow Parliament and they don't know what we say. So sometimes they blame us for even what we've said. Sometimes they blame us for something that has happened in Parliament a year ago. So we pray that CL unions continue, they pay more attention to the growing concerns and every other thing around Parliament.
Thank you so very much, Honorable Ekeki. Honorable Emerson Lamina, before the President delivered his speech, we did engage you as to your expectations and what have you. I've just engaged Honorable Ekeki. He said nothing seemed to have changed from the previous speeches that were made by President Julius Malema. Is that the case?
He's not only economizing the truth, but he's a litote in any case. Litote is an opposite word, opposite word for hyperbole. That's a litote. If he says that, I sense dishonesty, I sense economizing the truth in that statement. It used to be a mirage as far as mining is concerned in this country. It used to be a mirage wherein citizens or people living in mining communities do not realize the 1%. Today, it is a law. You ask yourself, 8 years ago, why is it that since we are not benefiting 1%, people living in mining communities, but today, go to Marampa, go to Sayarutai, citizens living in mining used to be through its political 22% alone. Today benefit from school feeding. Ask yourself, why is it that it was not so in days gone by?
Honorable Emerson Lamina, you just mentioned the mining sector, for which the President did say from it is not about what is exported from side. The people
I won't bother citizens to go to Query Holdings. The President did not touch Query Holdings. The President did acknowledge that there have been a downsize as far as diamond export is concerned. That is truth. But the magic I will tell you here is the better designs of how Query Limited, including Maya Mining Company and Searite, these are tripartite companies living in Kono district, you can definitely see the difference. You also ask yourself how much was citizen surface rent before this time? It used to be 50%. I'm talking to you as a mine boy, somebody that lived all his life in a mining community. 50% it used to be. Today, under President Julius Malema, he has increased that to 70%. You can imagine? So you can see drastic change when members of parliament living in those locales, they get 10%, permanent chief members get 10%, and the council living in that jurisdiction, they also get 10%. 70% increase. President Julius Malema should be commended because of his strong political will in the management of minerals.
The President's speech has already been laid in Parliament and subsequently to be debated by Monday and what have you. What should the public expect?
I'm not sure it will be debated on Monday. Maybe after a month or two, it will definitely be debated. This is a motion of thank you. We are coming here to give thanks to His Excellency for his speech so delivered and graciously delivered to the people of Sierra Leone. Members of Parliament will definitely scrutinize where criticisms actually demand they will criticize. But we only call that there will not be armchair critics, criticizing without providing solution. President Julius Malema, the leap that he has made in the education, the leap that he has made in the health sector. You have heard him just now. Today, we can count the maternal center of excellence in Kono District, 100 beds. with 3 modern theatre. You can count on the Maternal Center of Excellence of President Jos Malabi at Lumley. Those infrastructures were not there. We can count on the 450 improvement on the road sector. In 8 years, he has just told you that he has constructed 23 bridges. That's not small. Just in 8 years, 23 standard bridges he has constructed. For this, President Jos Malabi is a champion of infrastructural development.
Thank you so very much, Honorable Emerson Lamina. It's a pleasure having you. We're having interviews, and we've just been joined by Sidia Tunis, who is from the He's from the main opposition of People's Congress Party. Sidia Tunis, it's a pleasure having you. Good afternoon.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much.
You graced the occasion this morning when the president did deliver his speech. What's your take generally from what the president did say?
The speech generally leaves much to be desired. The president said so many things that are encouraging. He acknowledged several things that we, the opposition, trumpeting. He acknowledged the fact that everybody has a role to play, government, opposition, private sector, and he acknowledged the fact that government cannot do it alone. Everybody needs to play its part, and he emphasized a lot about peace, unity, and national cohesion, and also acknowledged acceptance of the Attorney General's decision to drop criminal proceedings against former President Nkrumah, and also, emphasized that former President Nkrumah is key, to not only contributing to the development of this country, but also peace and, democracy in the sub-region. So these are all encouraging acknowledgement of facts that the opposition have been emphasizing, that we need to work together. He also spoke a lot about electoral integrity, which is encouraging for us, and he called for fairness in our democracy, and also made emphasis on the fact that the current census process should be inclusive, should be transparent, and these are things that we have been highlighting as the main opposition parties. But then when it comes to the big 5 game changers, we listened carefully. He highlighted the successes that he has scored with his big 5 game 5 changers, sector by sector. We'll now have to delve into those sectors to see whether in fact these successes are realistic, and where the challenges remain. We as an opposition, we highlight those challenges and we'll profile alternatives as to how we work together to make sure these challenges become successes.
Is it satisfactory so far from the opposition saying?
Well, to a large extent, yes, it is. But of course, the challenges are enormous. We talked about, the economy, for example. We've seen the foreign exchange have been stabilized for a long time now. The dollar to the Leone has been stabilized for a long time. But then we still continue to see rising prices of basic commodities, even though the president said the importation rate in rice importation has reduced and monies have been saved. But local produce are still, the prices of local produce are still very high. You've just seen an increase in the prices of fuel. That is going to affect every other sector. And we saw him say he has rehabilitated, not constructed, as the opposition leader just said. He has rehabilitated 23 bridges. We need to know which areas, of course, and more roads have been constructed. We need to see which areas. But he said one thing, that these road constructions have led to the reduction of prices of transportation. That is basically not the case. In fact, transport cost is increasing based on how the fare prices are increasing. So these are areas that we'll have to look at as an opposition to see how we highlight these challenges and how we profile solutions to address these challenges.
Thank you so very much, Sidia Tunis. It's a pleasure having you. He's Sidia Tunis, and he's coming from the main opposition, All People's Congress Party, and from his submission, it's very clear that to some extent, as an opposition, they're in agreement with some aspects that were highlighted by the president, but yet have some disagreement. But this is the beauty of democracy, as the president did mention, that he's not expecting anyone to agree in totality with what is being said, or whatever the case might be. But nonetheless, you'll agree to disagree on what have you. So it's been a beautiful moment here this morning. It's quite an amazing moment here this morning. As I did mention at some point in that the president seemed very calm whilst delivering his speech, and you see absolute agreement from the main opposition, All People's Congress Party. But nonetheless, we've just been joined by a female member of parliament from the ruling SLPP. You can introduce yourself. What's your name?
Thank you very much. I am Honorable Alice Konya Sandi, representing the people of Kenema District.
Honorable, in generally, what will you say is your candid opinion as to what has been said by the president, also in terms of women's participation in governance?
I would say it's a welcoming one for the women of this country, because this is the very first time, as women of this country, we have not only been recognized, but we are now seen to be part of governance, and we can now participate in the governance of this country. So what His Excellency the President just said in his state opening speech should be one that should be welcoming for every woman in this country. I mean, talking about the PR, we all know, I usually say the question of PR should not even come to the table, because as women, and especially as women of the Parliament of Sierra Leone, whether PR survives or should actually be voted for should not be a question, because this is something we should be grateful for. And the question should not be whether there are capable women to actually run or help in the running of the affairs of this country in terms of having a PR system, because we have capable women leaders in Sierra Leone, that is one. And what we should be thinking about, personally for me, is how we can actually try to have an amendment of the Public Elections Act, Section 58.2, which actually says that for every 3 candidates, one shall be a woman. However, it does not really specify whether the woman comes first, second, or third. So because it has a loophole, most women, or most of us here, are mostly coming third in the list after every 2 men, which is happening because the law did not specify. So as women, one of the things we should be concerned about now is to see how we can actually ensure that particular act is being amended to ensure our positioning is being well stated and clarified, so it makes it easier for us and for even our political parties.
At some point in time, the president did reference the fact that as MPs, within this year, you should ensure you come closer to your constituencies and your districts, because your districts, your constituencies are your districts and your districts are your constituencies. Is it a wake-up call for MPs to embrace their people and whatever?
It could be, but for me personally, I am with my people, and as I speak, there is an ongoing free summer school, actually the 2nd edition going on in my constituency for my people. So it could be a wake-up call, but again, it could also serve as a way of encouraging MPs to continue to do what we do for our people.
Thanks so very much. It's a pleasure having you. Thank you so very much. We keep having voices from members of parliament and also party stakeholders who graced the occasion this morning within the well of parliament. We've just been joined by a member of parliament from the main opposition of People's Congress Party, Honorable Dr. Sorinfa Koroma. It's a pleasure having you. Good morning.
Thanks for having me.
Good afternoon.
To be here. You're welcome.
Quite a lot was said by the president. Quite a lot was said by him. At some point in time, the president did akin his speech to that of what is currently happening in Ukraine as one of the impeding factors to the state of affairs in Sierra Leone. Would you agree? Will you agree with what was said as one of the key reasons?
It will be disingenuous on my side, or even on our side, or in the side of any Sierra Leonean to think or say that whatever is happening in Ukraine or Russia has no effect in Sierra Leone. It's a global challenge. We know the role Ukraine plays in food, in the supply chain. We know the challenge it poses in terms of the transportation of grains. So over time, we've known that that has been a challenge for any respective nation. So it's a global affair. But what is important is to see or note what has government done in a deliberate fashion to ensure that we prepare or manage or mitigate against the challenges posed by the war. So for us on our side, it's really about the preparedness of government to mitigate those challenges that has been posed by the war. The war did not start last year. The war did not start the year before. It's been a 3-year war. So we believe definitely it is his right to say it, but we have a different view towards it. We know the war we know the war is a challenge for any nation, but it's about how you respond to those challenges.
As Sierra Leone responded in a way that befits its people.
Well, the president and his government have responded in their own way, but I think the president and his government should have responded in different ways, meaning deliberate measures should have been taken, drastic cuts should have been made, austerity probably should have been declared, and it should be visible that there have been deliberate cuts by government to ensure that it mitigates its deficit towards those challenges. So for my part, the war is an existential threat, but the response and reaction by government could not have been the reaction and government or the government of the APC.
The APC seemed very calm to the while the president was making his statements. You see, to some extent, one will allude that there was some amounts of agreements from the end of the APC as to the many things the president was saying. Because before this time, whenever the president is in parliament to deliver his state opening address, you get a lot of side talks, a lot of bashing on the ends of the APC. Why was that the case today? Is that a result of the fact that the president did commend the APC for their participation in governance?
It's part of it, but it's also the message. You know, the message was a message that has a national face. The message is a message that was true to what the challenges are on their part. Of course, when they state certain things, efforts have been made. But in the beginning, he stated that policies by government have to be felt in the homes. He said policies by government have to be felt even in the lives of school-going children. So he talked about how the policies of government should affect the lives of daily people. So to me, in my assessment, he was being true to what his government has delivered. I mean, for any given Sierra Leonean, it's no secret of what is going on in the country. There's no secret. Everybody is feeling it. Everybody feels it. And say who feels it knows it. So everybody is feeling it. And if he is stating that his policies have to be felt, we know the ordinary Sierra Leonean feels the consequences of the policies, or the real Sierra Leonean is feeling the benefits of the policy. So it's in the place of the ordinary Sierra Leonean to assess what the benefits are or the consequences of this government's policy. So to our part, we're here basically to listen to what he has to say and digest what he is going to say, and also the promises that he had to make, that he's making. Because he did not just start with what have been accomplished, but he talked about what he intends to do in the coming year. And today his speech was not about the number of bridges that he has built. His speech was not about the number of schools that they have constructed. The speech was not about the amount of the speech was true to what was going on. He talked about inflation, how inflation is at double digits. He did not lie about that, and that is what we know. So if anything that he said was contrary, we will definitely have to go to the speech line by line to see that he did not say what was going on. I mean, so it's really coming to terms to what has happened and the reality in the lives of the ordinary Sierra Leonean.
The president did reference that members of parliament should remain closer to their constituencies and their districts. This seems more of an eye-opener to members of parliament to embrace their constituents. More so when elections seem to be drawing closer.
But I think he was trying to drive home a message, because when he said we should stay close to our constituents, we've always held that view that we should be close to our constituents, and we believe that being close to our constituents is being close to our constituencies. And we've always maintained that when you're close to your constituency and every member of parliament is allowed to represent a constituency as is in the first past the post as an electoral system, then the people that we represent stand to benefit. But he tried to change the message that the constituency is a district. Of course, we're in a dispensation of a district block system, so probably it is right to say that. But our hope is to ensure, to see that we indeed, in this election, we deliberately do a constituency-based election versus a district block election.
Thank you so very much, Honorable Dr. Sorin Fakuruma. It's a pleasure having you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. We are still having voices from members of parliament and even well-wishers who graced today's engagement here at the Well of Parliament. Just been joined by is a very senior official within the four corners of Parliament. He's called Mr. King for short. It's a pleasure having you as always.
Yes.
You seem one of the most experienced voices within the House of Parliament.
In fact, I'm called legislative guru. And
why is that the case?
Yes. State opening of Parliament, I want to explain that to the public and to students and to all public and civil servants.
Are you not guided by the SOs?
Definitely. Because I did make her in Creole because all man understand. Okay. Because most people
that is the camera. Let's go.
Yeah, because most people don't know the importance of state opening of Parliament. Mm-hmm. This now very important activity in the life of Parliament, and also now important activity in the legislative process of Parliament. State opening of Parliament very important. The president, where he come, where he assume in office, he get 2 terms of 5 years. 2 terms of 5 years. Then that's not 10 years. But in Parliament, we they call a session. They don't do 1 term. That's not 5 years. They do in 2nd term. And they don't do 3 years. Not 3 years, we call us 3 session. 3 session. Now the same thing. So for come to in 4th year, that for can do the 4th session, the president they come put an end to in 3 years, or in Parliament say put an end to the 3rd session, and they welcome a new session when at the 4th session or the 4th year. And then at the Constitution, section 84(1). In fact, they deal with part 2 na the Constitution. Part 2 they do with summoning, prorogation of Parliament, and dissolution of Parliament. 84(1) they talk say each session of Parliament shall be held at short place within Sierra Leone and shall be held at some time as by proclamation appoint. That the president they use proclamation for end in session. Then you get 84(3) where they talk say
84 sub 3.
Yes, the president shall at each session present to Parliament an address on the state of the nation. So this state opening of Parliament, this today will do so. Now the 4th sitting in the 4th session, the 4th sitting. So the president don't start in 4th year. Now in 4th year he don't start so, and today now the 4th sitting inside in 4th year. What they call a session, now most people don't understand. Okay. The president, so this are the 4th sitting where the president delivers his speech, a trouble in achievement and everything.
Okay, thank you so very much, Mr. King. It's a pleasure having you. Thank you so very much for enlightening the public as to the essence of today's gathering and what it meant when you say the 4th session of the 6th Parliament of the Second Republic of Sierra Leone. Thank you so very much. It's always a pleasure having you. It's always a pleasure having you. Samuel Ibrahim Kuruma is my name, and I've been here with my man Samuel Tony Sawyer, and we've been bringing you live as to what's happening in Parliament this morning. Thank you so very much to the team Bonson Wright, Joseph Ali Bangura, who has been behind the camera, and earlier on my colleagues David Remy Wilson and Victor Jones, Ransford McLean, they've all been here this morning to ensure we bring you live feeds as to what's happening within the chambers of Parliament. Samuel Ibrahim Kuma is my name. Till we meet again, have yourself a wonderful time. Samuel Tony Sawyer.